everybody. So today is Monday. That means it's time for a family movie night. And this week we're continuing on Disney Scares Month. And this is the month that we talk about scary movies from Disney and for family movie night. It's a lot of fun. And this is, I think, my 7th year doing it. And it might be surprising that we haven't talked about Pinocchio sooner, but I'd already reviewed it a couple times on my channel in the Disney Canon Watch, also Talking Disney podcast, other things like that. And I just try to talk about a variety of films. So I had put this one off, but it felt like a good time to rewatch this classic after my feelings about the remake this year, which I did not care for. And of course, with the Guillermo del Toro film coming up in December. So it's a good time to kind of talk about this story. Of course, this is the second animated film from Walt Disney Animated Studios after Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs was a big hit. And I really admire Walt Disney's boldness in this film because it would have been really easy to just make another fairy tale story after Snow White. But he went in a very different direction. He went in with a film, of course, based on the book by Carlo Collodi. I've never read the book. I heard it's even darker than this version. So it'd be interesting to see what Guillermo del Toro does, some of the darker elements. But uh, this is very different than Snow White and Seven Dwarfs. I mean, it's trying to teach kids lessons about being honest and obedient and things like that, and not getting into trouble. But it's also just a series of adventures that Pinocchio goes on, and it's just different than Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. And so I admire that about it. I think that that took a lot of guts. It's also a pretty big step up as far as the animation. I mean, I love the animation in Snow White, but some of the animation in Pinocchio has still yet to be topped. I mean, this particularly the water, the monstrous sequences when Pinocchio is under the water, the animation is absolutely top notch. It's so beautiful. We also have one of the most memorable Disney songs in this movie with When You Wish Upon a Star, sung by Cliff Edwards. I love that song. It's such a hopeful, beautiful song. We also have the Blue Fairy that comes and rescues, well, creates Pinocchio, for course, at first, but then comes and rescues him when he is in the cage and is lying. That's all important part of him kind of learning that he really does need to listen to Jiminy. Love the way that Pinocchio is animated, his character design. There's so much warmth whenever he smiles, that is very endearing, I think, to the character. It's also just like a weird movie, which is kind of fun. And I think that's something that I appreciate now more as an adult. When you've seen so many animated films, it's kind of nice to see one that's just sort of bonkers and weird, that you have with this movie with Pleasure Island is just so crazy. And when the way they animate the turning into Lampwick turning into the donkey scene is absolutely terrifying. It's so well done. It's so well paced. It happens just sort of slowly, and it's all part of a joke, which also kind of makes it creepy and weird and scary. I think very scary. I think, like I said, Monstro, I think, is very scary here, very intimidating. And also you get the sort of desperation in Geppetto when he's down there and he's tried and tried and tried to get out and he thinks it's hopeless. And that works very well. You have other weird things in this movie, like the fact there are regular cats and anthropomorphic cats, and that you have anthropomorphic. You really only have two anthropomorphic characters walking around and animals walking around in clothes and everything, and nobody seems to think that's weird. Very strange. Also, the fact that there's no sort of punishment for the coachman turning these boys into donkeys. And you have ones that are like halfway turned, which is terrifying. Alexander, what's going to happen to him? That's completely terrifying. So all of that just makes for a exciting, unpredictable, kind of weird experience when you watch it that I appreciate now, especially compared to the remake this year. But it might still be pretty scary for some little ones. So I guess you just have to kind of know your kid, and if they can handle it, gonna have a good conversation about the things that Pinocchio learned along the way, which is always good for a family movie night. And you certainly can talk about the incredible animation, the beautiful songs, and the classic why, and you can talk about why it's such a classic even to this day. So I've grown to really appreciate and love Pinocchio. I think I in my next ranking I'll bump it up even higher in my Disney canon ranking. So yeah, let me know what you think of Pinocchio. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section or on Twitter. Please like this video. Please subscribe to the channel. I'll put in the playlist of all of my Disney Scares Month reviews, so I would love for you to check those out. Like I said, I've been doing it for many years, so there's some really fun reviews in that playlist. And also, you want to check out the podcast that I did on the remake of Pinocchio. That was a lot of fun. Rarely do I go negative, but I had a good time doing that with my friend Lasse. So check that out. And thanks so much, everybody. We'll talk to you later. Bye.